what needs to change? So let's look at that. Let's dissect it a little bit. Let's start with Kepler, because we talked about him on Friday when he was complaining about not playing. Then he doubles down on this in Atlanta, right? Doubles down on it, and I would think that you would think somebody would get in his ear a little bit and be like, dude, look at what you're doing. This isn't the right way to approach this, right? Like, you would think somebody would, his agent, somebody would say to him,
or the handful of veteran guys that are in that clubhouse. Like, I would have to think that a Kyle Schwarber or a Bryce Harper or even a Nick Castellanos, who just had his own dust up or displeasure made public with the manager, I would, if I were those guys, I'd be like, dude, what are you talking about? You just got here. You're on a 1-year deal. You're Max Kepler. You don't get to say that. You do not get to think that.
Yeah. Thanks to David for this. Last 11 games batting 175. Yeah, he's not been good.
Well, and that's what's really interesting about it. The whole thing for him is like, I want consistent at bats. Go back over the last 4 games now. He's playing every day.
He's had consistent at bats all year. So to make it sound like, that's the thing that burned me the most, because right now he's a qualified hitter in Major League Baseball. If he was having a career year and was in the batting title race, he'd be qualified. So to me, that's a starting player. Is he starting every day? No. I think he sat 13 times.
So let's look at this. Let's do a quick look at this. Okay. Let's go back to, let me make sure I don't have by start here, but I'm going to say, did he get multiple at bats in a game? And go back to June 10th, which was against the Cubs. It was the second game of the Cubs series. The 10th, yes. The 11th, yes. The 13th, they were off that Thursday, yes. 14th, yes. 15th, yes. 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, yes. It's an entire week straight where he had at least 3 at-bats. And then I can see, and it's interesting that the comments come out when they do, he plays the 21st, the Saturday night game against the Mets, goes 0 for 4, by the way, and then doesn't play again until Thursday. So he doesn't play the first 2 games of the Houston series. And I can appreciate watching, if you're a veteran guy and you're like, Otto Kemp and Buddy Kennedy, and like Buddy Kennedy's getting at bats over me. Like, well, come on, man. Like, I can appreciate that to a degree, but given the consistency with which he's played, this one stretch is really the only time that they sat him down for a prolonged period. Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He didn't play 3 straight games. So he's pissed, right? The fact that he doubled down on it, though, like he had a day to kind of think about it, or someone had to have given him a call and said, yo, man, what are you doing? And he's still stuck to it. That's got DFA or trade for a bag of balls written all over it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, somebody had suggested earlier, I could probably find the comment. But since he's worth $10 million, they'll try and trade him first, and they may try and trade him first. But I think that another team who might be looking for a left-handed bat looks at it and goes, yeah, that situation's bad in Philly. We'll just wait, because nobody will trade anything for him, and we could probably get him for next to nothing, for league minimum.
What's been your impressions of him, being around him for a short amount of time this season? I mean, he came here. There's no real baggage. It's not like, oh, that's Max Kepler, right?
No, he's a very good guy. I think I enjoyed. I've talked to him a few times, and I think he's a good talker. I mean, I don't think that he's the sharpest knife in the drawer. Let's put it that way. But I mean, he's always willing to talk, and he's willing to give you some thoughts, and that's okay. And he's good. And he seems to have be a liked guy in the clubhouse. It's not like he's off by himself all the time. I mean, he's usually in conversation with those guys in the back corner of the locker room. He's back there with Castellanos and Turner and Harper. He's on that side of the clubhouse. So I think that he's fine in that regard. I don't think he's a troublemaker per se, but you got to wonder what the guy's thinking. And look, I guess he's thinking, I don't want this to be my last year in professional Major League Baseball. I'm having a terrible year. They're not helping me get a contract next year. I'm probably not going to be back here next year. Like, I guess maybe that stuff is starting to sink in a little bit, and the frustration of that is probably what is fueling what he's saying. But that doesn't make it right. I mean, it just doesn't. And so, like, if I'm the Phillies, I look at it and I go, Max Kepler, mistake. We gave it a shot. It was a mistake. They did it with Whit Merrifield last year, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. It was a mistake. Didn't work out. Loved the guy. They loved Whit Merrifield.
I actually, he just retired, obviously, formally, and there were a bunch of former Phillies. I think it was like Stubbs and Castellanos and Schwarber. I want to say it was like Foul Territory, maybe that podcast. They did like a quick, well wishes thing. And it's all Phillies guys. And they're all like, dude, can't wait to play golf. And they're busting his balls. And man, they really loved Whit Merrifield. Not saying that they don't like Max Kepler, but I don't think that this will have the same profound impact on their emotional connectivity if they DFA or trade or move on from Max Kepler.
Correct.
The thing that kills me about Max Kepler, though, it's like the last 30 days, he's hitting 173. Last 15 days, 175. Last 7 days, 143. I mean, the numbers aren't good enough, and it's not like he's hitting right-handed pitching. It's like he's hitting 205 against righties this year. He's 41 for 200 against right-handed pitching. He's got a 380 slug against him and a 312 on-base percentage. It's not like the guy's producing and they're letting him sit there and rot. I think Brandon Marsh has a bigger gripe being platooned right now than Max Kepler does. Anytime that they face a lefty and they're running Johan Rojas out there. If I'm Brandon Marsh, I'm like, hey, very small sample. I think he has like 30 at bats against lefties so far this season, but he's like, I think he's hitting like 260, 750 OPS. Like he's like at least, and he's having great at bats against righties. That I get. Max Kepler, you're not doing the thing that they brought you here to do, and you want to play against lefties as well.